The pillows are fluff thanks to Miss Emily. The couch is wide enough, join the family. It's all love while we laugh at Bert's criminalities. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup at hey, hey, hey. Come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough. Oh, please, the puppies need me. Oh, oh, please, my body is rejecting none of that fancy credential stuff. I'm just here for the cringe binge. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup and hey, hey, hey. Come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough. Oh please, the puppies need me. Oh please, my body is rejecting none of that fancy credentialed stuff. I'm just here for the cringe binge. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup that hey, hey, hey. Come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Sofa Squad. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here, mods. Thank you for being here, squads. And thank you for being here, Kathy, Gossip, Rumor, and Innuendo, and Dr. Patrice Berry. Shh, the crowd goes wild.
You know what's funny? When the intro was playing, I was like, what's wrong with the song? Why is it so slow? I'm so used to listening to you on 2X. I was like, this song is weird. It's a different song.
I know. I did the same thing too. When I listen back to editing stuff like that, it's always fast. I'm like, wait, something's not right with this. We need a 1.25. Right. I can handle myself at 1.25, and that's where I should naturally speak appropriately. Like I'm just used to that. And anything else, I'm like, come on, spit it out. Let's go. So y'all, yeah. Sofa Squad, if you don't know, most of everybody laps over, but if you don't, Kathy from Gossip, Rumor, and Innuendo, she's wonderful. She's been on here before. Link is in the description. Dr. Patrice Berry, she's been on here before. She's wonderful. Link is in the description. We get together, we gossip, we ask credentialed questions, and then we ask. Kathy and I usually cover the non-credentialed, and then Dr. Patrice Berry's there to be like, look, y'all, this is a credentialing that needs to happen here. This is what's going on. So, for those who aren't familiar,
from Dr. Berry that I learned that faces cannot be murdery, that's not a thing. Now, please know, according to me and my gossip credentials, you can absolutely have a murdery face and be convicted for having one. But the official word is that's not in the DSM or something, so maybe not.
Murdery face, page 30.
Exactly. Appendix 3, footnote. Oh no, it's in there. I feel in my spirit like it's in there. So whatever.
That's how Lori Cox got away for so long, is because the cops were like, oh, this pretty, like she was able to present well. When people think of a tradition, now we think of her, but before that, like people didn't really think that she could do, but she was doing all the things, and it was bad. So.
Oh yeah. And speaking
honestly,
of go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say because I have been on a cruise. I was on a cruise for the previous 5 days, and so I'm deeply out of the loop. Prior to knowing that we were going to come on here and do this tonight, I was like, I need to know all the things. I need to get caught up. So from 4:00 until literally right before we logged on, I was binging all 6 days of your coverage of this case. And the one thing that kept coming to my mind is that this lady, I mean, I see her face now and she just looks like some average, jailbird. You will never convince me that she wasn't cute at one time. She absolutely was riding off of pretty privilege in my gossip opinion. But I was like, she had to be, otherwise they would have been like, you look extra strength murdery. Come on, get these bracelets and let's take you on down to the jail. But she was like, what? I get to ride in the front seat of the police car, blink, blink, blink. And that was that.
Mhm.
Dr. Barry.
No, I totally agree. I think that's why she got away. And I think she moved around a lot. I don't think she stayed in one location for very long. And so like if she had stayed in the same district and if the same police officers, if people kept dying and there kept being these fires around her, I think people might have noticed something. Or I hate it when domestic situations, when people are just like, that's between y'all, but they're doing crimes. And so people should be held accountable. If you so the I think it was when during like the person saw her running away with like after she was smelling gas or whatever on the trailer. How does she get away with all of that? And it's just it's really sad. Such a sad thing. And if I was the husband number 5's family, first of all, like be very careful if you like you really want to ask some questions about what happened to husbands 1 through 4 if you're going to consider somebody and be their 5th husband. Like the odds aren't good for husband number 5, but I think she might do a good job portraying herself as a victim. Like poor me. Oh my gosh. And she did have that one long-term relationship that was 17 years, but it's just
shocking.
I would be nervous to be spouse number 5 for anybody. I mean, it also depends on your age, right? Because if you're 80 and it's spouse number 5, like, okay, you've lived some life.
I watch true crime because, like, if there have been a lot of deaths, like, are you like, I would do is it Black Widow or like where, I don't like, are you marrying somebody and your husband's dying and you're collecting insurance? And
I know a lady who is married, 2 billionaires, both of whom have passed. And I was like, under what circumstances? But one of them was very, very old, and the other one passed away after she had divorced him. But I was like, okay. But when I was being introduced to her, I was like, wait. I need to go to the bathroom. Child, the Googling I was doing in the ladies' room. I was like, Also, teach me a class. 2 billionaires? And they're both dead? Girl.
I know, right? That's crazy.
Just saying.
So y'all, before we got started, Kathy was asking some questions, like in general, like just being like, okay, wait, we're connecting the dots. Cause she's been on vacation. She was listening to things. So she's, like, okay, wait. Now you already know if we've been following this is one of those cases where if you blink and then you get like day 3, you're like, wait, how many chapters did I miss? Like 1,000, right? So one of the questions she was asking, and Kathy, after that, I'm gonna go into it, but after that, feel free to ask anything else if you want. So she was like, what's up with the whole brother situation and her killing him, whatever? I keep talking about it. So for those that are new here or new to this particular case, whatever. So Sarah Hartsfield has all of these alleged murders and then obviously murders kind of under her belt. She's only on trial for one of them. Well, when she was young, and Dr. Barry, if you remember the exact details of this, you can help me out. She had a little brother in a living situation. The brother died, same as other people, under mysterious, like something was weird with the death.
I thought she was like around. I think she witnessed. I thought that was something weird. Like I think Sarah was there.
There was something of that maybe in the beginning it was like, okay, odd, but whatever, because nobody's going to think the kid's going to kill another kid. But then hindsight type situation is like, wait a minute. You know what I mean? Like what? So a lot of these crimes that she did, they're going back and re-looking at them and they're like, oh, wait a minute. This doesn't. Now this makes sense, or now this is like, wait, we have context, we have this, we have that. I think she was babysitting. Yeah, you know what? Hold on.
It's giving Damon from The Omen. You remember Damien, that little boy who was on the tricycle and he ran the tricycle into the nanny and she fell over the stairs or whatever?
Yeah. So yeah, go ahead. Do you have were there any other like glaring things that you're like, wait, what happened with this, or whatever?
That was the one thing that kept, like, as I was listening to your coverage, you kept saying, well, they kept saying the brother, the brother. And I was like, what about the brother? What happened to the brother? Because I had never heard anybody mention him until you brought him up. And I was like, okay, number one, she couldn't watch my kids. She couldn't watch my kids on TV, much less watch them in real life. But she did lose custody of her own children, which was probably a good thing. But good grief. Yikes. Talk about a chaos muppet. Good Lord.
Now, Dr. Berry, I have a question for you real quick.
Yeah.
What do you think, and is triangulation the correct word, when you're dealing with someone like Sarah, who has to have multiple narratives going with different people at one time in order to kind of pull off the story? Like, what would you call this? Like, what are we looking at here?
Is she bad mouthing the same person to multiple people, or
say that's a part. And also too, and let me add a caveat.
Yeah.
Almost like a pathological liar, because it's almost like if you look at this current husband right here of, okay, well, everyone has multiple stories. What really happened with the insulin? The family can't come in and do this. Oh, this person's going to say that. You know what I'm saying? Now maybe triangulation is maybe the wrong word I'm thinking of, and more like pathological liar. I guess, how do people like this pull these things off? Clearly we're here today, right? So it's like it caught up with her. But I mean, what do you call these type? And I know you can't diagnose her,
No.
but general,
And we love a bad criminal. So I think, because if this had been number one, she might have been more careful. Like, with this being, like, there have been multiple fires, multiple deaths. People always believe her. I don't think she ever expected to be suspected in all of this. And I think as the investigators heard more and more about her history, I think that's when she became a potential suspect. And they took a look at, wait a minute, could it have been? And they interviewed more people. And the thing with pathological liars is that some individuals like this, they will lie so much that they can't even keep it straight. Like, there's just because when you lie, you have to have a really good memory, because you have to remember, I told this person this, I told this person that. I don't think she's like a genius. I'm not in a bad. I just mean, like, I don't think she was sloppy with this, because she didn't even attempt to clean up. There were 10 insulin things right around his bed, but I don't know if she thought they would think he did that to himself. And we don't know what happened with those insulin vials, but I personally think Sarah Boone tried to clean up some before everybody got there. I don't think she tried to clean up anything, and it was just very problematic. And after the fact, she's running around thinking people will be on her side. So it makes me mad when people use their children in their crime, because she reached out to one of her daughters to get one of her daughters to lie for her. Like, that's the allegation. Like, that's what her daughter testified to, and that she wanted her daughter to set up a GoFundMe. And there are daughters that buy into the narrative that the person is sending. I think about Chad Daybell's daughter, Emma. And then there are some who are like, no, like, you are that see them for who they are, and will later talk about, I was scared of her. But I don't know that they thought she would ever really get caught. And I can't imagine having her as my mother. Like, that would be really scary. So sometimes people, with a person like this, you walk on eggshells. You try to not upset them, because if she thinks you're not on her side, like, you might die. Like, you might get your house burned down. Like,
and she's gotten away with so much stuff for so long. And I think it was the best friend. She had this best friend for 20 years, and she had bragged to the best friend, like, oh yeah, they barely even questioned me, and the cops let me ride in the front seat. Like, it was almost like a source of pride for her. It almost seemed like a game. Like, oh, what wild and crazy thing can I do? And nobody confronts me, and nobody says, hey, what's going on here. I wonder how many of her other crimes were committed in Texas, because the sheriff was saying, like, we are law and order. We are very conservative. This is a community that's very pro law enforcement. So you can't be coming over here doing all these crimes and think we're just going to be like, oh, little lady, it's okay. Go on about your way. I know some of the crime, at least one crime was in Minnesota. I don't know where the others were, but this small town Texas sheriff, what they were saying, that like the nurse had called the police, and like the hospital people were like, no, girl, this sounds crazy.
Mhm.
Let's get somebody over here. That may be her undoing part of it.
Oh yeah, I think so too. And Northwest brought this up real quick. I just want to address it before I forget. Northwest says, I was heartbroken for the son that was beaten so bad he was out of school. He thought it was normal. That was completely heartbroken. It was such a glimpse into like the mindset of, when this kind of stuff goes on in a household. Because the son was basically like, yeah, I went to school and was bragging about getting to be home from school. And my friend was like, basically like, when he told him why, he's like, that's abuse. Like, that's not normal. But you could tell by the son's reaction, how he told it to him, that was normal. And it was like, hey, I got out of school for it. This is pretty cool. And he didn't even know anything was wrong with it. And it was like, wow, that is so sad. Yeah. Like, can you imagine? But then speaking to, Dr. Berry, you mentioned like people are scared of them, this, that, and the other. I mean, if you already know that this is going on and that's your level of normal. And so if you're growing up like with a parent who's threatening people, burning houses down, you're here, trying to kill this person, that person, it's almost like you're not even viewing it probably as, oh, that's illegal. It's like, well, this is just normal. If I step out of line, if I go against this, well, then I get into that otherism of I'm the one who's going to get whatever, beaten, gasoline or whatever.
Yeah.
She and I'm surprised she never did anything with the children, like harming them in the way of like killing or things of this nature. Now, obviously, she did do stuff or whatever, but I felt like it would just be a matter of time, because it was almost like what it seems like to me is everyone around her, something was going to give, because everybody knew what was going on, and she was holding people in with like fear, or they just didn't know, or whatever. And it was eventually going to pop off like something. And obviously it did. So
the level of chaos in that household, I can't even imagine. But I'm reminded that, like, when I was a kid, I mean, my house was crazy in a different sort of way. Like, it wasn't like this kind of crazy. It was like regular dysfunction. And after I sort of grew up and went out into the world, there were things that I thought were socially acceptable that people were like, wait, what? No, you can't talk to people like that, or you can't behave in this way or that way. And it was sort of society, I guess, like the larger community that was like, no, that's not how we roll. We don't tolerate this thing or that thing. And because I wanted to keep my friends, and I wanted to stay part of like my new sort of found family, I had to adjust my behavior, because I was like, you get mad at somebody, you smack them. Like, that's not a thing. And my friends were like, no, girl, you can't be smacking people. I was like, nobody told me. I didn't know.
Yeah. I think, it's like that's, But for me, my biggest thing was with one of those situations was leaving home and then coming back, like not even for that long. I had no idea. And even I can remember telling my mom this, and she was like, you didn't know that my dad was an alcoholic. But when I left and then came home and was like, oh wait, that's not, so people don't have to make a drink to go to the grocery store. Like, I was like, I thought everybody did that. Like, you had to pack a cooler to go 15 minutes down the road. Like, that's abnormal. And it was the biggest shock. Like, when you learn about what is not, like, what's considered abnormal outside of your home, it's like, like, wait a minute. Like, everything is broken now. Like, huh? What? Yeah, it's crazy.
And I love to tell the story that how I became a therapist is because, so my family is real, like sarcasm. So like they use a lot of sarcasm, a lot of dark humor and jokes. Well, my mom, her joke, like if you didn't know her, if you didn't know our family, you would be very concerned. And so what she would do is she would tell me, she was like, I'll kill you and make another one just like you. And it was like, and so a friend heard that and reported it to the school social worker, which was appropriate. Like it was like, hey, if you have a concern, say something. Because then I go into the school social worker's office and she's like, does your dad ever touch you? And I was like, what? I was like, what? So my mom's name is Johnny. And like, so I'm in Germany at the time. My father is in the country of Turkey. My mom is in the United States. Like this counselor was so bad at her job. I was like, because up until then I wanted to be an accountant. I was like, I think I want to work with kids that aren't in a good space. Because I was like, if I wasn't safe, I wouldn't have told that woman a single thing.
Yeah. I mean, listen, the school, thank God my kids are in a good school district. I got a call early one morning from like I forget the name of it, but I said to my husband, they've scrambled the jets because I talk true crime and I work in post-death services. There's sort of like a lot of dark humor around my house, which is sort of understood inside the family. But my son put something on social media that was like, I don't remember exactly what it said, but it was along the lines of like telling a joke at a funeral, or it's okay to tell jokes at a funeral or something like that. And then he fell asleep and his friends saw it and they thought it was like a self-harm kind of message. Like it's okay to joke at my funeral, something like that. And the kids showed their parents. The parents called the school. The school called me the next morning. It happened overnight. They called me early that morning and I had appointments and I'm running here and I'm running there. And they're like, your child can't come back to school. Like we've assembled this team. I forget what it was called, like this emergency meeting of this team. And they were like, do you have health insurance? And I was like, what? Why are you asking me these crazy questions? And they were like, your child has to see this therapist today before he's allowed back in school because they thought he was at risk for self-harm. And I had all these other appointments. So I was like running here, running there. I had to take him to see this therapist. She had to write a report. And then we had to both go in and sit down with this panel of, it was like 8 professionals. There were mental health professionals. There was a school social worker. There was all these people. And I was like, how do I tell these people this was my fault? Because I'm like, hi. See what happened was I was so embarrassed. And my child was just like, I mean, what are we? Not everybody tells jokes about funerals or whatever, but these kids had no idea. And thank God that system's in place for kids who really need it.
Yeah.
But Lord, was I embarrassed.
Oh, I can imagine. That's a good story. I mean, I can see how all the things lined up for that. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh
So
my gosh.
I think before this, I don't think any of her kids really turned on her. Do you know? I don't know that they ever provided this love because I think it's part of it. I think she's been held without bond. Like I think like she's incarcerated.
Yeah.
And it's not looking good for her. Like it's not. It's really, really a lot of the evidence. It'll be interesting to see if she does try to get on the stand. And I hope
she does.
Audio. I really, really, but it would not be good for her case at all. I was surprised at how much of the past stuff came into this trial, but I do think that it's because they are. There's probably going to be some statement to the jury that like this is just going to her character, but like she hasn't been convicted of any of these things, and that they have to determine what's what.
Yeah, I was like 404B, prior bad acts. What is happening? I've watched enough court TV to know that this is all 404B evidence, that it shouldn't be brought in. And I don't know why or how it's being, even like they were like the detective or whatever from Minnesota is like, oh yeah, we saw this and we've reopened the case. I'm like, this is terrible for her. But you just know she's the kind of personality that is like, I will get up and I will explain it, not realizing that her pretty privilege is long gone and whatever sort of benefit of the doubt. But the fact that she's nodding, shaking her head no, and wearing earrings and all this blingy jewelry in trial, like, girl, no ma'am. No ma'am. Niet, nine, nanka,
It's the earrings for me.
I miss the earrings. So her earrings have been like really like dangly and nice or something. Oh, Okay.
They described it as blingy.
Blingy.
The bling. Now, let me ask y'all this real quick. So, are y'all cool if I start reading some of the updates from today and we stop and talk about them along the way?
Please,
Oh.
please, please tell us.
Okay, so I'm going to be looking at this screen over here. So, just FYI.
And I'm going to be taking notes down here because I do need to make a video for the morning. I need to get my notes together. So please have at it.
And what we'll do is after I read each section, so the way it's done is it's like 9:05, this witness. I'll read that section and I'll say, do y'all have, commentary or whatever? And then we'll go.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. So this again is day 7, and we're going to say Dr. E. This is Joseph's endocrinologist. Is called Back to the Stance. They have already testified. Now this is via Zoom, and they explain how insulin works for the second time and what she believes happened to Joseph Hartsfield in his final hours. And she said that the insulin is administered through either a short or long acting pen. Both hold a maximum of 300 units. Quote, you can administer as much insulin as you want by continuing to twist the dial, she said, end quote. Now, according to Dr. E, data from Hartsfield Dexcom glucose monitor showed he was in a, quote, critical hypoglycemic state with a glucose level around 55 from 4:30 p.m. on January 6 and remained that way for more than 4 hours. Quote, patients who are that low usually need help increasing glucose. Below 54 patients cannot help. Below 54, it's a typo. Below 54 patients cannot help themselves. So we'll get to that. Okay, so the Dexcom data, she testified, stayed flat below 55 the whole time with over 100 alerts. Okay. Keep in mind that Sarah said that she's already said she heard the alerts, 100 of them. Okay. Sounding alarms that she said are meant to save patients from going into dangerous lows. Dr. E also testified that anything below 54 would cause unconsciousness. Quote, he was that low for 20 hours based on the data, she said, adding that the Dexcom would have sounded every 20 minutes. She told jurors that Hartsfield likely suffered brain damage from a diabetic coma caused by prolonged hypoglycemia. Before she was dismissed, she said plainly, below 54, scientifically speaking, he would be unconscious. Okay, so there's that section. So just a couple of reminders for everybody. Keep in mind that Sarah has admitted, like I said, that she heard the alarm. She's admitted to that, but thought he was looking at it like he was doing it himself. And she claims that she was, I'm on the sofa, I'm bad, So what the doctor is saying, and because the state has already said we cannot prove who gave him the thing, what was there's key elements that they cannot prove. It's just context. So this kind of evidence, to me at least from the sofa, is very important because you have a credentialed doctor saying these numbers here, and it wasn't like they just dipped beneath there. Thank you, Amy, I appreciate you. It wasn't like the numbers just dipped below for a minute. This is consecutive. He was not capable of helping himself. And if anybody's ever heard the alarm that she is talking about, we're not talking about some little gentle waking up on your phone thing, We're talking about this is life-saving, right? So if she's hearing this all these times talking about, well, I was on the sofa with my Misty 100s. I didn't want to get up and bother him. You know what I'm saying? Like, no. This man died a horrible, horrible death. Okay, that's all I have to say. Do y'all have anything on that one?
And I think because he was concerned about his blood sugar going too low, because it's my understanding on the monitor, they can set it between like 72 and 50. Like there's a range, and he set it at the highest part of that range. And so I'm glad that information came in too.
I'm honestly surprised that more people don't use insulin as a weapon, because we had this same thing in the Natalie Cochran case. Although her husband was not a diabetic, but she was a diabetes educator. So she knew that if she gave him a certain amount, that because he was not wearing a monitor, there was no alarm or whatever. But honestly, if some alarm was going off over 100 times, even if I felt like my partner was taking care of it, I would be like, you're doing it wrong.
I don't
You doing it wrong.
I don't do beeping. Like, so I don't I don't do beeping. I can't. One time in the middle of a session, because I had been dealing with a ticking clock. So somebody else put a ticking clock in my office. In the middle of the session, I was like, excuse me, this is bothering me. And I went and put it in the hallway. I was like, all right, we can continue. Like, I just, and so I can't wait for you to get to the phone evidence part, because
well, I think this might be, well, yeah. So let's go on to the next thing real quick. So at 9:20, Dr. E leaves. Detective Rocks comes on the stand. Okay, so he was formerly with the sheriff's office there and the lead detective on this investigation, and testified that it's a female, testified that she was called to Houston Methodist Baytown Hospital by investigator Yeatman after staff suspected foul play in Joseph's condition. Quote, Joseph was unresponsive when I arrived. He had brain damage. So already at the hospital, right, the staff is like, this ain't right, okay? So Detective Rocks told jurors that she spoke to between 30 and 50 people, reviewed hundreds of thousands of pages of records, and spent months investigating the case. She also noted that this was her first major case, and she was only 6 months into being a detective when she landed the case. She said that Sarah's demeanor at the hospital was very matter of fact. She said that Sarah would appear to remember she needed to be sad, but it seemed staged. Detective Rocks said that Sarah, quote, didn't appear under the influence of narcotics, although she said she was on medication from a recent surgery. When Rocks searched the home, she said the house smelled, was disorganized, and there were 5 dogs and a cat. In the master bedroom, there was throw up on the bed. Sarah said that there was a white comforter that Joseph was covered up in, but there was no throw up on it. Interesting. Detective Rock said she found, quote, 8 to 10 insulin pens in the bedside table and a glass in the counter that Sarah said was for orange juice. At the bottom of the cup, it was completely dry, Detective Rock said. There were black specks in it that appeared to be mildew, as if the glass had been sitting there for numerous days. She added that the bathroom, quote, had a cat housed in it, with a large number of prescription bottles all over the counter, and that the cat was using the bathroom on the ground because the litter box wasn't cleaned. Detective Rock said that Sarah gave consent to search the home and encouraged me to take evidence, including the insulin pads. She was cocky, saying that it made me feel like she knew there would be no evidence to get off of it. She testified that Sarah joked and called Joseph a pig, showing no crying, no anything that would indicate she was having a hard time. Detective Rocks also read from Sarah's voluntary written statement in which she said, quote, Joe worked all night, then went to a job interview. I made broccoli and rice. He had a small bowl, took insulin, and went to sleep. I heard the Dexcom alerts going off, went to check on him around 1300 hours. He was mumbling, but not coherent. I opened his eyes, and it was as if he was looking through me. Around 1400 hours, I called 911. Detective Rock said that Sarah told her she drove herself to the hospital because she wanted to have a car there, even though she said she was on narcotic pain medication due to the recent surgery she had. Y'all.
But that's her admitting that she cooked his last meal for him makes me wonder, did you put a little something in it that made him sleep?
He had benzos in his system, remember?
And I think everybody said that he wasn't prescribed any. And he didn't really, like, that wasn't everybody that knew him, that wasn't something that he really took. And benzos would make you out of it. So it would make a person checked out, where if that monitor, it would make some people tired, and kind of disconnected, checked out, probably sleepy too. And so that's where, for her to admit that she cooked the last meat, like, I just made him blah blah blah, but yeah, that's where I would wonder how did we get here?
She needs to be convicted on the strength of that litter box not being clean. Sorry, like, a dog will, like, just go anywhere and be like, okay, I'm done. But cats actively want to be clean. Like, get a litter robot. I don't know. I can't. That's so nasty. I can't get over it. It's so nasty.
You know that had to smell.
Oh.
Like, that's ugh.
Just another
No, ma'am.
Now, also of note, if you've been following it, remember the whole thing about her saying, I had a glass of orange juice that I kept filling up because I thought he was getting up and going and drinking the orange juice. And now the detective's like, that thing it was dry as a bone and had mildew in it. I don't think any of that happened.
How long after his death did this particular police officer go to the house? Because this officer was saying that they've only been on the job for 6 months and they talked to 30 to 50 people. Like, I'm a little bit confused about the timeline. Did he dropped dead on Monday and they were at the house Monday night, or he dropped dead on Monday and they were at the house a month later? Like, I can't get a sense of it.
Excellent question. I do not know. And I'm curious about that as well. If anybody knows, drop it in the comments.
Okay.
I'm going to go to the next thing if y'all are cool with it.
Yeah.
Okay, so at 10 o'clock, the court went on break. And while they were on break, Detective Rocks the attorneys talked to the judge about Detective Rocks confiscating Sarah's phone. So then they go on break, they come back. So at 10:20, Detective Rocks remains on the stand. So this is where we're going to start getting into that phone tea. Okay. So Detective Rocks testified about what she found on Sarah's phone. Y'all know this is going to be good. Okay. In the hours leading up to her husband's hospitalization and death. Okay. So Detective Rocks asked for the phone. Sarah said, "Oh, crap. So here's the question. Do I have to give you this without a warrant?" And Detective Rock said she then provided a copy of the warrant. She was like, "Yeah, sure. Bam. There you go. What you going to do now?" So she gave the warrant, and Detective Rock said then she provided a copy of the search warrant. And Sarah said that she would have provided it anyway. Then why'd you ask? You know what I'm saying? Okay. She was in the middle of typing a Facebook post, so Rock said she watched over her shoulder while she finished that, then took the phone. Detective Rock said she was concerned that things would be deleted from the phone, seeing that Sarah was, quote, scrolling up and down as if she was thinking about something. Detective Rock said she then downloaded the phone and looked at Sarah's activity through the morning of January 7th. Data from Apple Movement showed steps taken each hour, including times that Sarah said she was asleep. During the 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. hour, Sarah allegedly woke up and checked on Joseph and found him unresponsive, Detective Rock said. But per steps on the phone, the 1 to 2 p.m. hour is the only hour that Sarah didn't take any steps. Other hours showed movement between 9 and 124 steps. Detective Rocks also testified that Sarah's Safari search history had been deleted, but that embedded cookies showed activity. Searches included Bible verses, AirTag locks, relationship terms like gaslighting and misogynistic, and a snapped episode about a woman who committed murder and fled. Yeah. That's all we needed was those 3 searches.
I also heard on one of the news reports that while she was sitting there in court, like now that she's in trial, in addition to her dangly earring, she's also sitting there with a Bible. Girl.
Of course.
I bet it's burning you.
Agree. On January 7th, Sarah accessed multiple apps, including HEB, Facebook, USAA Banking, Indeed, Aramark Careers, KWTX.com, ZipRecruiter, and Force.com, while she claimed to be under narcotic medication. Detective Rock said that Sarah had images of Joseph on her phone from that morning, including several photos showing his chemical burns and videos of what appeared to be snoring. Detective Rocks also found messages appearing to be sent from Joseph's phone, including a screenshot of his new bank account information, his driver's license, and a photo of a legacy contact access key that was sent sometime in the 5 a.m. hour on January 7th.
Almost quote, like you knew somebody wasn't gonna that's super suspicious.
100%.
The whole legacy thing, making sure that she was the legacy contact for his Apple. Oh my God.
Quote, I believe
say you're plotting a murder without saying you're plotting a murder. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. Sarah created the Apple legacy contact and sent it to herself. This is what the detective believes, allowing her to access his phone after his death. 100% agree.
Mhm.
Joseph was admitted to the hospital hours later and died with a 911 call placed at 2 p.m. Detective Rock said she reviewed outgoing calls and texts in the morning, saying that Sarah was busy communicating with multiple contacts, including her children. She said that as Joseph was dying, Sarah appeared focused on his family in a negative light in her conversations. Let me kind of, and okay, that's it.
So that means his family being mad at her, or his family. What was his family in a negative light?
So it said that she focused on the family in a negative light. That's all it really said.
So I guess she was talking bad about. So she's talking bad about his family or something.
Yeah, because remember, she wouldn't let them get near. She was like already creating the defense walls of keep away, keep away. You know,
and telling the people at the hospital, if they ask questions, don't answer their questions, don't give them any information, because one of the doctors on the stand was saying it was very uncomfortable to have information, but his family, his mother, whatever, was asking, but the wife was saying, like, don't tell them anything. Also, while it is very important to set up your legacy contacts, see also, I work in post-death services. It's important to have somebody designated who can get into all of your social media and do whatever you want done with it. Do you want to make it a memorial page? Do you want it shut down? What do you want to do? Everybody should set up their legacy contacts. Also, if your spouse is laying on the sofa very ill, that might not be the time to set up their legacy contacts, because it's going to look real super duper suspicious. Real suspicious. Like, he's looking sick. Instead of calling 911, let me just go here on Facebook and settings and see if I can't. Is this good across all Meta properties, or is this just Facebook? Like, girl,
absolutely. Yeah.
And then
not a good look.
If you're in a difficult marriage, because it sounded like he was thinking about leaving her.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're husband number 5 thinking about, I mean, I hate to be like, I just want to say, going ahead and get a medical directive, a legal medical directive, where that person is not the one that gets to pull your plug. Because it's my understanding she pulled it fast. Like,
she did.
They might have been able, and I don't know, because I think she let him sit there allegedly for a while, but you should consider someone else being able to make, and there has to be, because your spouse is automatically gonna be that person.
Yep. But also, one of the doctors on the stand said that while he was there sick and they were talking to her about things, she went ahead and was like, oh no, you got that DNR? Come on, give me that do not resuscitate. We're going to do this right here, right now. Don't worry about us. We're not going to waste no time. I already set up the legacy contacts on Facebook. Where do I sign? Yeah, no, do not revive his behind. No.
Literally.
And I hope nobody ever has to see their spouse or partner, loved one in a difficult situation like that. And I was able to have a conversation with a close family member, and we talked about, because they were still on a ventilator, but they were conscious and they were in a whole bunch of pain, and they asked for their family to not come in until the vent was out, because they just they didn't want their family to see them like that. And so we respected that. And then once they were, once they were off the respirator and everything, and it was a few hours, but still, the family wasn't able to come in during that time. But that person was able to communicate. It would be super suspicious if somebody's in there just like, nope, don't even try. And like, you were the one
plug out.
You're the one researching gaslighting and other manipulation terms. Like, that's just super, super suspicious.
I think it's important that we pause and say hello to Zaddy Ray Hermosillo, who was in the chat. Okay, carry on. Talking about other suspicious ne'er-do-wells. I saw it go by when he was like, "Hi, Kathy." Yeah, this lady is so sus. But Dr. Berry, I have a question. The person who didn't want anybody to see them on the vent, they were conscious. Like, once they took the vent out, then the person was no longer alive?
No, they were alive. They were alive. No. So they were
okay.
Yeah. So they were alive. Yes. So the vent came out and they were good. Yes. Because really the ventilator was in, but they didn't. So they had a surgery and there was too much bleeding, and so the vent was just in to make sure blood didn't go into the lungs, and so the vent didn't need. And so that's where I share the story. Me and a nurse almost had to fight, and I saw the nurse lie. So the nurse. Really? Because the person couldn't, because before they come off the ventilator, they have to breathe on their own for 30 seconds. But they were in so much pain, they kept passing out because they weren't on. I would not wish nobody to ever see. Like, it was a very, very difficult thing to see. And so, but the nurse, because the doctor asked, did they pass the test? And the nurse looked at me and she said, yes. Because they didn't, because I was just like, I was begging her, completely, just, I'll take her, like, I promise I won't sue you. Please just take this out. Like I'm telling you, they're passing out because they're in too much pain. Like, they're like that. And every time they would lose consciousness, the machine would start breathing for them. And so they kept failing the test. Right. And Share Bear has a question too. Why do you think so many spouses stay with their spouse and just tell their families, wait a minute, and just tell their families if something happens, it's their spouse that did it? Why won't they leave? And leaving is hard. So I never want to, and that's why I like talking about coercive control, unsafe relationships, emotionally, because sometimes I don't think Sarah ever hit him, but I don't think their relationship, I don't know that it was emotionally safe for anyone. I don't know. And because I'm not sure she's a safe person, obviously. Like, there's not a good track record here. And so a lot of people, there can be shame. So there can be a lot of reasons why people don't leave. But I'm also reminded, like, the Corey Richins, because I think her husband also said, like, hey, if something happens, it was her. And multiple other cases where people have changed the beneficiary of their policy, and they've done different things like that. But it can be hard to leave, especially if the person has some narcissistic vibes, because the initial love bombing, I think the person is always hopeful. The victim in the case is always hopeful. Like, can we ever get back to those good times? Like, they're holding on to, like, like, if she would just stop, if she would just, like, it would be okay. And the person,
if they would just be this entirely different person than I know them to be now. Honest to God, like, I look at these stories and it makes me want to scream. I'm like, why don't you just? But then also I'm reminded that I spent 9 years in a relationship that I should not have spent 9 minutes in. And because the beginning was so amazing, I can recognize that now as love bombing. And then I spent the next 9 years trying to get back. We would have, like, amazing days, never 2 in a row, but just like these little glimpses of, like, oh my God, okay, we're just about, if his wife would quit calling me, I did not have good judgment all the time. And then ultimately I was like, I was so caught up emotionally, even though there was no physical abuse, there was definitely emotional abuse on both sides. I was not willing to let go because I just kept thinking. I remember saying to a friend of mine, no one has ever loved me like this before. And she said, someday you'll say that and you'll end that sentence with, thank God. And I was like, and then I was just like, I just wanted something better for myself. He didn't change at all. I just wanted something better for myself.
I'm gonna steal that someday you're gonna add thank God. Like, I am gonna add that, because there is somebody that that I need to say that to.
A girlfriend of mine was just like, girl. And now I have a very dear cousin who I love with all my heart, who was in this relationship for a very long time, and they're divorced now. And she's probably still in love with him. Oh, Jesus, I hope she's not watching this. She's probably still in love with her ex-husband. And I'm like, on her wedding day, I was like, are you sure? But they were together a long time and they had children, and there were good times and there were bad times. In my opinion, there were more bad times than good times. But she just, like, she could not, would not, is not able, whatever, for whatever reason. She finally got enough gumption to say, like, and now I'm done.
Yeah.
And he did come, knocking on her door the other day. And I was like, and what'd you do? Child, my butthole got tight. I was like, She's like, I told him, no, thank you. Like, no fighting, no screaming, no drama, no, like, he's like, I love you so much, girl. And she was just like, you're going to need to get off my front porch.
Good for
good
her.
for you.
Yeah.
Good for you. He was a bum. Lord Jesus. Ooh, the way I want to say his government name right now. Ladies, don't date him. He's single right now. He's a hobosexual. He don't have no kind of house, no place to live. He's trying to find a woman so he can have a place to live. But listen, we're not talking about my family. I just got back from a vacation with a whole bunch of my family members. So, I'm like, that bum, she married. Anyway.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to the next thing real quick. Okay, so they go to lunch and then okay, wait, hold on. Let me catch up right. Okay, here we go. So they go back to lunch and they come back. Detective Rock is still on the stand. So when they get back on the stand, the prosecutors start to introduce text messages and Facebook messages that are outlining and showing Sarah's relationship with her husband's family days leading up to the death. The messages between Sarah and several family members, friends, and even her husband, Joseph. In the text, Sarah told relatives that no one could see Joseph without her present and accused his family of disrespecting their marriage. Prosecutors showed messages where Sarah discussed Joseph's life insurance, asking who his beneficiary was and telling him to amend paperwork at work. In one message, she confirmed that she was listed as his beneficiary. And where did it go? Rox also read Facebook messages between Sarah and a friend where Sarah described Joseph's blood sugar levels as dangerously high, accused him of ignoring medical advice, and complained that he was slowly killing himself. Those messages were sent the morning of January 7th when Joseph's blood sugar monitor was sounding for his low sugar alerts. Meanwhile, messages showed Sarah was actively texting and sharing videos while claiming she had been asleep on medication. Investigators also recovered dozens of deleted text messages between Sarah and Joseph in the week before his death, some showing arguments and threats to kick him out of their bed. Detective Rox testified that despite Sarah's claim she was asleep and on narcotics, her phone data and messages showed that she was awake, active online, and communicating with multiple people during her husband's medical crisis. Bam. Done. She knew exactly what was going on. Now, they take a break after that. They come back, and Detective Rox is still on the stand. Okay. Detective Rox continued to walk jurors through phone downloads, texts, and a timeline prosecutors say undercut Sarah's account of what she was doing hours before Joseph was hospitalized. Rox showed Joseph's obituary in court and said it listed Joseph's cause of death as an ischemic stroke, which she thought was weird. Rox laid out the prosecution's timeline for jurors.
So did she fill out the stroke, or is that, or so? Because normally, I think the funeral, or I wonder if she gave some bad. I don't know, because it listed, and that's fine.
Cause of death in an obit. I read obits all
True,
the
an
time.
obituary. My bad. I'm thinking like a death. My bad. In the obituary,
Which is weird.
Listen, I have a personal policy. If you say somebody died, that's an incomplete sentence unless you tell me how. Don't you? Oh, cousin Bobo passed. How? How? I want to know. Mostly because I'm nosy. But that's like a face-to-face conversation or a text message. But on the obit, here lies, Joe Schmo. He lived from this date to that date. He grew up in this town. He died of a XYZ. That is weird. Unless it's like, give money to the Cancer Society, give money to whatever. But like, he liked fishing. He died of a stroke.
And it's a lie. It's also a lie.
Yeah.
It's also a lie. But she was trying to put the narrative out there. She's like, let me just float this little lie.
Yeah, she told multiple people multiple different ways, and a stroke was one of them, which why she would pick that. Again, that's I'm comfortable. I've gotten away with this. I'm lazy. He died of a stroke. That sounds good at this time. Not thinking your gig is up. You know what I'm saying?
She's gotten away with this for so long. To some degree, this had to be like a game to her, right? It's like, oh, I'll just put this out and put that out. How far can I push this? How much can I get away with before, Texas fires up old Sparky from my behind? I'm dead serious. Texas is not playing. I mean, listen, I grew up in the heartland, and I remember my math teacher talking about like the unalive penalty. I'm like, can we just learn algebra? And he was like, they have all of these people on unalive row. I think they should just get bleachers and put everybody on the bleachers and plug those bleachers in, and then we could just be done with everybody. And I'm like, okay, so what does it mean when there's an X in the sentence, in the math sentence? Can we please? My math teacher in high school.
Wow.
So that was Indiana. So Texas is like, you speeding. I'm gonna need you to go right on down here to the jail, and we're gonna get that firing squad ready. I wouldn't jaywalk in Texas.
I mean, for real. Okay.
They are not playing.
Okay, so here's the timeline. So they started dating November of 2021. They got married February 2022, so months later. They moved to Beach City in April of 2022. The relationship between Joseph and Sarah got worse from November to December of 2022. December 29th, 2022, Joseph opened a new bank account and discussed divorcing Sarah. So like a year basically into the marriage, he's already like planning his way out. January 6, 2023, Joseph had a job interview and returned home from work. Sarah fed him a meal and Joseph went to bed. Joseph's Dexcom reports show his alarms were going off for several hours before she called 911. January 7th, Sarah called 911 for Joseph. Rock also walked jurors through the iPhone Apple movement data and other phone activity recovered in the download. Rock said the movement data shows steps recorded each hour that Sarah claimed she was asleep, and that during the 1 to 2 p.m. hour, Sarah allegedly woke up and checked on Joseph and found him unresponsive, but the steps on the phone between those hours is the only hour that she didn't take any steps. Rocks also played messages from the morning of January 7th showing Facebook, grocery, and banking app activity, deleted Safari searches, and a screenshot from Joseph's phone, a legacy contact access key, and saved to Sarah's phone around 5 a.m. I believe Sarah, she already said that, where she believes that she created it and sent it to herself. Prosecutors say those records and texts, including a message from Sarah that read, "OMG, I'm about to call 911. He's breathing but won't wake up. He's going to be so mad at me, but now I'm really scared," are all key to their timeline. I mean, why, like... Okay,
this lady could not be more sus. Go ahead.
I've got one more to read, and then we'll be done. And that will kind of line up with your time thing there, Dr. Barry, if that's okay.
Perfect.
Okay, so 4 o'clock, court resumes. Case Darwin begins cross-examination on Detective Rocks. So they're just doing the cross-exam. So when Sarah's attorney, Case Darwin, began questioning Rocks and asked her if she did a majority of the work on the case and had already reached a conclusion by the time the case was presented to the grand jury, although the investigation was still ongoing. Rocks testified that when deputies first responded to the scene, Sarah consented to a search of her home and complied with the request to come unlock it since remotely wasn't working. Rocks said nothing initially stood out to be collected as evidence, but then stated, "We failed to collect insulin pens that day," but then added that it didn't change the course of the investigation. Rocks testified that although no video evidence shows Sarah injecting insulin into Joseph, a lot of evidence points to Sarah being the cause of Joseph's death. Rocks said a second search warrant was later executed after Sarah's February 3rd arrest, and Sarah's security cameras and computer were taken as evidence. Rock said that Sarah's phone showed internet searches like, "Can too much insulin cause a stroke?" which was made while Joseph was in the hospital, and that her search history before January 7th had been deleted. Joseph's phone, seized on January 8th, showed his movement data had been turned off since November of 2022. Rocks told jurors that she found inconsistencies in Sarah's statements throughout the investigation, describing her as cooperative but inconsistent. And then court ended for the day. So, there you go.
This lady is super duper murdery. I understand that that's probably not a technical term, and our law enforcement friends will be like, yeah, no, murdery is not a thing. But I'm telling you, she's super murdery.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I personally think that they've got enough to get the conviction. And when this first started, I was like, how are they going to prove this? And how are they going to do this? But they've done an amazing case at getting all the information. Be like, hey, we can't prove this part right here, but all this other stuff. I mean, it's all right there. She was lining this up, turning his movements off a month before. She was lining everything up. But then she was also lazy and she was cocky. She was like, it was not a question if she would get away with it. She knew she was going to get away with it. She had before.
It reminds me when the prosecutor is trying to explain circumstantial evidence, and I forget exactly how they explain it, but it's almost like if I wake up in the morning and my car is covered in snow, I didn't see the snowfall, but like,
yeah,
classic case.
Yeah,
like this.
Yeah. The powdered sugar. What was it? Sarah Catherine Dugan, or the powdered sugar evidence in the Donna Adelson trial. Like the donut is missing, and the powdered donuts are missing, and you have one kid with powdered sugar all over his face, but he's like, "No, it wasn't me." There's powdered sugar all over this lady's everything.
100%. So yeah, I think that I think they're going to get the conviction. I personally think that the jury is probably looking at her like WTF, I mean, just pure evil, because there's so many other layers to it. There's not only the murders and stuff, but there's you didn't let the family into the room. You tried to burn your sister-in-laws, or whatever, your ex and his new wife's house down. I mean, just it keeps going on and on.
Live, because she had the unsuccessful, where I think one of her kids heard her tell the boyfriend or whatever to not come back if he didn't do the crime. He did come back, and I think he called to warn her. I'm glad he had some but he did go to the house and knock on the door and got on the ring cam. And he was never charged with that. I don't think
no, because he recanted. He the guy that she shot, David Bragg, I think his name was, the ex-boyfriend that she shot. His mother got up there and said, she looked at him in the casket and was like, "Why did you make me do this to you?" Where'd they do that at? Like, ma'am, you didn't call the police immediately?
And why would you go if you claim it was deep? I don't know. Like, that's just, she's weird. And that's where there's that sadistic thing to her, because like, it sounds like she stayed awake all night. Like, it sounds like she was doing stuff all on her phone. And this is just, it's a ridiculously sad case. And so my heart,
she's like Lori. I think she's like Lori Vallow in that she probably enjoyed it. I have theories. I have a theory that Lori Vallow loved doing the crimes that she did. Like, that just was her thing.
Because I think she was doing God's work, or that's like her. She tried to tell herself.
That's the crazy she was telling herself, but I think she was just having a good time. And I feel like for this lady, it was just sort of Sarah Hartsfield, it was just sort of a game. She just was having a good time. Like, ooh, what can I do? Like, look, I spent a lot of time knitting socks. I'm actually sitting here trying to Kitchener the toe on a sock. That's a whole other conversation. But it's like, I will knit a sock, and then I knitted this exact same sock about 2 hours ago and took it all the way out and re-knitted it again because it needed 10 additional rows. I will knit a sock again and again and again until it's exactly like I want it. And it's enjoyable to me. Somebody else might be like, it doesn't fit, it's the wrong whatever, forget about it. But I like the little tedious details of the whole thing. I feel like that's how some of these people are as it relates to their crime. For me, it's socks. And yes, I know you can buy socks at the store. People keep telling me you could just buy socks at the store. I know, but this is my hobby. I think for these ladies or some of these people, this is their hobby, whether they say it was God or whatever their justification was.
And am I right? So they are going to air the verdict, and are they airing closing? Or is it just the verdict, or is it closing statements? And oh, yes.
I can't wait. And I think personally that they're going to wrap this up much sooner. I think the state's going to wrap their case up this week. And so I'm guessing next week, because the defense, I just don't think the defense is going to put on a huge, situation.
Who do you have left? Like, who would get up?
Literally.
Sarah.
That's the thing.
Sarah.
Yeah, if she gets up there, I might drive to Texas over that, because it's going to be good. It is going to be good.
Yeah.
And I hope
Oh my God.
I hope they have a camera trained on her face for the verdict. I want to see the look on her. She's going to pull a Donna and be like, "Oh my God, no!"
Full drama. The earrings dangling. She's gonna be flashing that big ring. They say she's wearing her wedding ring. Girl, come on now.
I'm not.
Come on.
I'm not
How
surprised.
often do you wear your wedding ring to your husband's murder trial? I can't. It's too much.
She's like, "It's for his memory." Now, side note, everybody, the Brian Walsh trial has been postponed. Sadly, we saw this. Well, I figured, like,
Really?
Yeah, he's getting a mental health competency evaluation. So he was attacked in prison like a week or two ago.
Good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's very sad.
He's having some trouble concentrating, and they had a Dr. Burke. I saw it over. It's Cupcakes. Y'all know in the chat. Y'all know who I'm talking about.
Melanie Little.
Yes,
Melanie Little.
Melanie Little has the audio from it. You just got to skip ahead. She has the chapters. And so, and the doctor talked about, he has a prior diagnosis of narcissistic personality disorder. That came up during
Stand on your head if you didn't see that coming. Yeah.
Shocker.
But so one of his former treating, because I guess this psychiatrist, because I think Dr. Burke is a psychiatrist, talked with his prior treating person who did a quick Zoom call with him and was just like, yeah, he's not really the same. Who knows what? So they're doing a competency to stand trial, because he's having trouble paying attention and engaging and answering questions for long periods of time. They used to be able to meet for 2 to 3 hours, and now it's taking longer. Please know that competency evaluations include malingering. So malingering is when people are lying. So they and nobody knows, nobody knows how to fake those kinds of tests. And so they will be seeing, is this authentic or is it not? And so he's in the state hospital. People were asking if he was in the same state hospital as, is it Clancy or one of the ones up north? I don't know. But, so this is Brian Walsh. He is on trial for unaliving his wife. His wife?
Yeah. His wife.
Yes.
But so my understanding is that one of the detectives from that horrible Karen Reed trial is also associated with this trial. And so there's a lot of back and forth about that as well.
Mm-hmm.
I know a few lawyers covered that because they want to be able to bring up that history if they can. I didn't have the attention span to listen to see if it was coming in or not. But yeah, so I forgot if it is, but yeah.
Yeah, I forget what I forget what they're doing with that part, but something took place with that recently of the Karen Reed connection and that, and
yeah, the same investigator was on both
motions in limine, because I think the defense was trying. I don't know, maybe it was the state. I don't know. Somebody was trying to keep stuff out or have stuff in. I don't know.
Yeah, Trooper Proctor, who is why do I know this much about this case? Trooper Proctor, who was fired from the Karen Reed case for saying all the terrible things about her, also was the lead investigator on the Brian Walsh case, and sort of the taint. My understanding of it is sort of the tainted sort of history from his exposure in the Karen Reed case is carrying over, because there was something about information in his phone. I don't know, some sort of information. His phone has been embargoed, and so all his cases that he was working on, there's information in the phone that sort of only the FBI can see right now. And some of it is Karen Reed, some of it is Brian Walsh. How did this one guy get so many high-profile cases? There are other cases as well, but those are the two that sort of everybody in the news is talking about.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll have to find another. We'll see what's going on. There's several other things that are taking place. So, and obviously we'll keep following the Sarah thing while it's going on. But I think it'll probably be a couple more weeks and then wrap up. And we'll 100% be streaming the closing and the verdict and whatnot. Because I mean, hello, right? It's gonna be our chance to like actually finally put a movement and face and like vibe to all the stuff we've been covering here. So we shall see. We shall see. So y'all, we're gonna go ahead and wrap things up because we got different things to do. We got kids' bedtime, we got socks to knit, we got puppy walking. But thank y'all for joining in on this. This is so much fun to do this with the both of you. We absolutely have to do it again. Especially maybe like when this particular trial kind of wraps up or something, we can sit here and talk about it. And thank you, mods, and thank you, squads, and thank you everybody from everybody else's channels for joining in. And yeah, Dr. Barry's going to be on Courtroom Confidential tomorrow.
I thought it was fake. So when I got the email, I was like, is this real? And so I went to their channel to confirm, because sometimes people try to steal your and so I don't click on things, and so it really was Tiffany. And so I will be on with Josh tomorrow. Super excited.
That's so cool.
I researched because Tiffany asked, will you cover Brian Walsh? And I was like, I only do mental health cases. And she could have been like, it's a mental, he was just, but like she was real sweet about it. Cause I was like,
okay. He's like the poster boy for mental health.
I didn't know. And so so that's why I've been researching some just in case it comes up. Because we're definitely going to cover the Ruth Miller, the Mormon mother, and then Bianca Ellis. Oh, Kathy, did you see that body? It's bad.
Ruth Miller? The Amish lady?
Yeah, the Amish lady with the.
Oh, you said Mormon. I was like, oh, a Mormon case. I love a Mormon case.
Me and names. It's past my bed. It's time for me to start getting ready for bed too.
Yes, I've seen the Amish case. When she's like, I gave them to God. That lady was 100 kinds of crazy.
And so Bianca Ellis's case is currently happening now. She's the one that unfortunately she attacked a 3-year-old, and his mother and the 3-year-old did not live. And so that case is happening right now, but she's claimed not guilty by reason of insanity. And so we're going to talk about that case. And then also we might get to Brian Walsh too. So I'm excited. And it's going to be over on Courtroom. It's not on my channel. It's going to be on Courtroom Confidential.
Cool. Well,
I'm going to get caught up. I have to get my gossip legs back because I'm deeply, deeply out of the loop following my vacation. So I'm going to get my act right fully installed. I hope to cover Nicholas Rossi, but also whatever strikes me, because I'll be like, I'm absolutely covering XYZ case. And then I'm like, the squirrel, I get off on something else. And then there we go.
I do.
So we'll see.
I get it. Until next time. Thank you again. We will tune in. Everybody, thank you. We'll close out with Slow's Ode to the Sofa, and we will see y'all on the next go round. Everyone have a good one. I love y'all. Bye.
The pillows are fluff thanks to Miss Emily. The couch is wide enough. Join the family. It's all love while we laugh at Bert's criminalities. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup at hey, hey, hey. Come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough. Oh, please, the puppies need me. Ooh, oh, please, my body is rejecting none of that fancy credential stuff. I'm just here for the cringe binge. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sipping from the cup and hey, hey, hey. Come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough. Oh, please, puppies need me. Hold please. My body is rejecting none of that fancy credentialed stuff. I'm just here for the cringe binge. Hey, 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 welcome to the Sofa Squad. Sip it from the cup that, hey, 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 come laugh with the Sofa Squad. Can't roll my damn eyes hard enough.